Hi, I'm the Shadows Nose and I'm back with a quick update. Basically just because so many people ask if I'm okay and when I will return. Yeah, I'm sort of okay. Okay is the right word. I'm not fine, I'm okay. I'm just not, I just don't feel like playing games right now. I do some drink videos on my German channel because it's a bit easier to describe the flavors in my native language. And I also want to get my German channels to more than 1,000 subscribers. It's a long way. And I didn't feel like mixing the drink videos and the gaming videos here on my English channel, so the German channel is basically just a drink channel right now, and this channel is, I think it will remain a gaming channel. I haven't played a video game for like half a year right now, or yeah, maybe 3 or 4 months. So I'm not recording any new videos. Right now I don't game at all. Maybe I play a little Candy Crush on my cell phone when I have to wait somewhere, but yeah, that's it. I just don't feel like gaming right now. But I did something else. I actually made my motorcycle license. Well, it's not a full motorcycle license. There is a quite new law in Germany that if you are over 25, and I am, and you have your driving license, your car license for more than 5 years, then you can make an extension on your car license, so you can ride small motorcycles up to 125 cc with a maximum of 15 horsepower, I think. Yeah, and I did that. It's much cheaper than a full motorcycle license, and you don't have to take a theoretical or a practical test. You just need, I think it's 10 hours driving lessons and 10 driving lessons and 9 theoretical lessons or something like that. The cost is about half. It's between a half and a third of a full license. And for a full license you have to, if you only have a car license, you have to take a full theoretical test and a full practical test. You have to provide all the stuff. Basically it's like I don't get any bonus because I have my car license. I have to make a full motorcycle license with no benefits that I have my car license for about 30 years. So I wanted to try if riding a motorcycle is the right thing for me, and I think during the driving lessons I noticed that it is. I also already got a motorcycle, and I will put a photo of it right there. It's an old East German one, and I got it from a good friend. The state on the photo is how it was found. It was from his dad's collection, and I think he got it when around the reunification of Germany. So it stood in a dark shed, dry, for like 25 or 30 years, I think. Let me count it. I think the reunification was around 1990. Yeah, I think it stood in this dry shed for like 25-30 years. It's almost complete. As you can see on the photo, the front fender and part of the rear fender is missing, and the side plate. So it does need some work, and I'm not planning to drive this this year. Also, there is another slight problem because the bike has 150 cc, and I'm only allowed to drive 125 cc. But they also made a 125 cc model, so I only have to replace I think I have to replace the piston, the cylinder head, and everything else is exactly the same for both models. So yeah, spare parts are available, and I think that's a nice project for the winter, so I can ride it next spring. Yeah, that's also something I'm doing right now. Right now I'm restoring an old Simson moped, also from the former East Germany, because a friend's son will get 15 soon, and they recently changed the law so that you can get a moped license at the age of 15, and the old GDR East German mopeds have one huge advantage over modern mopeds. Mopeds, I mean 50cc mopeds. The modern ones are restricted to 45 kilometers per hour. And that limit was 60 kilometers per hour in East Germany. And during reunification they the German word is Bestandsschutz. So that means, I don't know the English word for that, but that means that you keep the right, or that those 50cc motorcycles from East Germany are treated, even in the reunificated Germany, they are still treated as if they, and I won't edit this, so please excuse me that I stumble a little bit. This stuff is kind of hard to explain. Since they were allowed to drive 60 kilometers per hour in East Germany, all of those motorcycles that were registered in East Germany before the reunification are still allowed to drive those 60 kilometers per hour in entire Germany. I'm not sure at all how our neighboring countries treat them. If you are not allowed to drive them at all with a moped license, or if you are only allowed to drive them at 45 kilometers per hour. Not sure how they are going to test this. But anyways, this is very, very attractive for young people over here, because they are much faster than the mopeds or scooters that you can buy right now, and everything is legal. So if you would tune a modern scooter to run 60 kilometers per hour, it's totally illegal. You get if you get caught, you can get in trouble with your insurance, because they won't pay. You get in trouble because you are driving a motorcycle on a moped license. So you have registered it in the wrong category, which is expensive, and you're also riding a motorcycle which you don't have a license for. If you only have a 50cc license for motorcycles with 45 kilometers per hour, and you tune it to run faster than 45 kilometers per hour, you don't have the license. It's not as bad for us, which have a full or higher motorcycle license. Then you have the license to ride it. You just get punished because you don't have insurance and you have registered it wrong. But if you're 15, you can only make a moped license, and then you will be riding it without a license. Riding it on the wrong license means you're riding it without a license, and that could even harm you if you want to make a proper license for this, which is possible in Germany at the age of 16. So you must be 15 to get a moped license, and at the age of 16 you can get a license for 125cc. Yeah, and we are restoring that one. That was in much worse condition than the one I got. but also those old East German mopeds are getting increasingly expensive. So for a pile of junk, really a pile of rusty junk, you can pay already much more than 500 euro. And I estimated that it was not a complete rusty pile of junk. I mean, the complete electrics did work, the engine didn't work, and there wasn't too much rust on it either. So main problem was the gearbox and the engine, and we sent the engine with the gearbox to a specialist who does some rework. The engine and the gearbox will be completely overhauled. Everything that is broken will be replaced with new parts. And I hope I don't have to do that with my motorcycle, because since those mopeds, those old East German mopeds are still that popular, you can get every spare part. They are still manufacturing all the spare parts, they are dirt cheap. So buying an old East German moped is very expensive. Keeping it on the road and maintaining it is very, very cheap, if you can do it yourself. And yeah, we are 4 friends right now, and we are working on this old East German moped that my friend's son can ride it at his 15th birthday. And after that, I think my 125cc motorcycle is on turn. So I hope I will be able to ride it next spring. But yeah, it's not sure. First I wanted to buy one of those Chinese retro style 125cc motorbikes. The main 2 brands that come in mind is Brixton, which is an Austrian company which imports those bikes from China, and the other one is Mesh, which is a French company, and they do the same. They also import those cheap motorcycles from China and basically just have them produced that they could be legally driven in the European Union. Yeah, that was my initial plan, but then I got this one from the photo for really cheap, and I thought, well, I like the looks of it. It's not a modern retro style bike, it's a retro bike. I mean, this is, I'm not quite sure if it's 1982 or 1980 when this was manufactured, but it's definitely even older than my car. And yeah, it's next year when I'm going to ride it, it will be 40 years old. And I really like those Chinese retro bikes because they look really great, they are cheap, and aside from some cosmetic things that will rattle off or start to rust, the actual engine and gearbox and stuff is quite reliable on them. So yeah, but I got this genuine retro bike, and I don't think, even if I have to replace part of the engine, which is not going to be cheap, I have to yeah, we have the TÜV, the German TÜV, which is comparable to the English MOT, I think. It's not exactly the same. The TÜV is much more stringent, but yeah, there's not that much that could go wrong on an old motorcycle. It's very primitive technology. I mean, it still has drum brakes in the front and the rear, and I'm not expecting them to be any good. But on the other hand, the bike will barely make 100 kilometers per hour. The 125cc engine has about 10 horsepower, and yeah, that's something that I again hate about this law. I am allowed to drive 125cc up to 15 horsepower. The 150cc engine has 11.5 horsepower. So if it wasn't for the 25 cubic centimeters of displacement, I would be able to drive it. It even has less power than I'm allowed to drive. It's just this small shot glass of displacement that prevents me to drive it the way it is. So I have to do the quite expensive engine swap. But yeah, that's life. And I'm already planning to get my full motorcycle license, but I will drive the 125cc bike for a year or two, and that would, I already spoke about this with my driving instructor. If I drive a lot and get a lot of practice in real traffic, that would save me a lot of driving lessons. So even though all this stuff I did for this extension of my car license doesn't help me at all, in the sense that I still have to do the full theoretical lessons, I think. At least I have to take the full theoretical test. I have to take all those mandatory practical lessons. But besides that, a good driving instructor won't, if you've never ridden a bike, a good driving instructor will not let you take the test if you can drive. And if you only take the mandatory driving lessons, if you are not very, very talented, you won't be able to drive. So you have to take extra lessons. And I'm saving all those extra lessons, I hope, if I drive this 125cc bike. So yeah, that's what I did over the last couple of months. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, just screwing around with some old mopeds or motorcycles with a couple of friends, having a beer or two. It's a lot of fun, especially after those isolation stuff because of the COVID pandemic. It's really, really fun just to meet some friends, have a chat, do some work, have another chat, drink some beer, eat some food. Of course, fast food, that's probably also mandatory if you do something like that, that you get some pizza or burgers or something like that. And yeah, that's really, really fun. So I think you have to expect, I will return. Last weekend Tomaniac visited me. He just left back home to Switzerland this morning. And we had a great time. We went, since all of those gaming fairs are cancelled, we went to a DVD fair right in the town next to where I live, and it was not as good as the gaming fairs, because I'm not a film buff at all, and Tomaniac is a bit more of a film buff than me, but not to that degree that we like video games. But we got some nice movies, which we watched over the weekend. Last year we did the same. We went to this DVD fair, to trading fair, to yeah, just to get the feeling from those events. Even though the items they trade is something else, the atmosphere is quite similar. So we still had some films we haven't watched together from last year. So yeah, we watched movies. We didn't play any games at all. We did chat a lot about old computers. We did chat a lot about games, but we didn't play any. So yeah. It's just that right now I'm not quite into playing games, but I already have planned some new videos. Dominic also gave me some of his Master Drive games which he did not want to keep, and some games that did not want to start on his Mega Drive with the adapter. He could not tell if it was because of the adapter or because of the game was broken, so he said, yeah, have them. If they work on your Master System, fine. If they don't, you can still throw them away. And I already had one game. It was one of those Outrun games that did not work on my Master System unless I took the PCB out of the cartridge. So I will try them, because one of those games is... how is this? I can't remember the name. I'm getting old. It's this famous shoot 'em up for the Master System that is really popular, and I got the sequel. I can't remember. Wait. Fantasy Zone 2. The cartridge does not work with Tomaniac's Mega Drive and the adapter. So it would be really great if this would work, because Fantasy Zone 2 is usually quite expensive, and the video is getting much longer than I expected. And I just recorded this for my German channel, so if you don't mind me talking in my native language, maybe you even understand a little bit of German, I put a link down below in the description to my German channel, where I do those drink videos basically almost exclusively. And those Sentiments colas, by the way, are really great. Expensive but great. And Dominic also brought me this. He ordered it for me from AliExpress quite a while ago, because he tested it. It's the same that HDMI splitter that he has, and he has tried a couple of those. Most of them did not do what he needed from it and what I need from it. So yeah, it's just a simple HDMI splitter, one in, two out, but this does remove the HDCP, I think it's called, copy protection. So I will be able to record games for my PS3 on it. That's basically the reason why I bought this. Why I asked Tomaniac if he could buy it for me. And it comes with a small piece of instructions. Let's see if there is some proper Chinglish in it. It does actually look like understandable English. Yeah, it actually seems to work. That's cool. Yeah, and it is, as I just mentioned, I don't have any interest in copying some protected video footage or so. I just want to record gameplay footage from my PS3. Maybe someday I will record some, what is it called, God of Wars. That is basically the game why I bought the PS3, because I wanted to play God of Wars. It's you may have seen my Dante's Inferno playthrough on the Xbox 360, and that in my eyes was a God of War's clone, and I really enjoyed playing Dante's Inferno, so I'm pretty sure I will enjoy those God of War games for the PS3. I did play the PS2 God of War games quite a bit. I remember that I did a video about one of them, and I remember that it was basically the only PS2 game that I continued playing for an hour or so after I ended recording the video. Usually, with most PS2 games, I just record the video footage, and after that I never touched the disc again. And this was the first game where I ended the recording and continued playing for an hour or two after that. So yeah, I think I like the God of War games, and I happy that when I'm feel like playing games again, that I can record it. Dominic also brought some other goodies, like he had to clean up his attic, and he found his old Sony Trinitron CRT television, not computer monitor, and since he doesn't need it anymore, he gave it to me. So I have a nice, I think it's like 23 to 25 inch Sony CRT television that I can use to play games. And don't laugh, my TFT television that I used to play Xbox 360 on also died, and I also used it to watch movies. Yeah, the power supply in that died, so I have to either get a new power supply PCB, which will be around 50 euro, or I try to fix it. It's a common fault, and I think there are 2, 3, 4, 5 diodes, not the capacitor, it's the diodes for some reason, that regularly die on those PSU PCBs. So maybe I'll try to figure out which of those I have to replace. It should work after that. I remember I played some games a while ago. I think I played some GTA a couple of months ago. The one day it worked. Then for some reason at night when I was going to the toilet, I saw a light shimmer from the living room, because I don't have a living room door, it's just a curtain. And I looked, and the television was, it has a function that if it doesn't get a signal after half an hour or something like that, it turns off automatically. And right at that moment, when I went to the toilet, it shut off. So I saw the shimmering from the countdown that told that it will shut down soon. And right at that moment, it shut down. Was a bit spooky, because I was asleep before that, and it doesn't stay on for more than half an hour, and I definitely was asleep for more than half an hour. And yeah, I forgotten about that. And a couple of weeks later I wanted to play again. Tried to turn it on, and it didn't turn on again. So that was, wait, why doesn't it turn on? And I removed the power plug from the wall socket for like 2 or 3 hours, because this is a common test. It's like this, try to turn it off and on again, and if there's some fuse blown, those self-resetting fuses, you sometimes have to cut the power for a couple of hours, and after that the fuse will finally reset and work again. I did that, plugged it in, it did start up for like 10 minutes, and it did shut down again, and the same phenomena as before. After that I could not start it again. And then I took off the back, looked at the power supply, there was no blown or obviously bulging capacitor. And then I looked up the serial number or the product code from the power supply PCB, and there were like 5, 6, 10 hits which all describe that the diodes are going to die after a couple of years and that they are easily replaceable. Also found replacement PSU PCBs. But then I'm thinking it's like 50 euro, and the television was the cheapest one that I could get, because it was for my dad, and my dad didn't want to spend much money for a television. He said the cheapest one is okay. Before that he had a cheap CRT television, which he was fine with. He didn't want anything better because it worked, it did what it should, and the picture quality was perfectly fine for him. So yeah, I went and bought the cheapest television that I could get when his old television died, and he was totally happy with it. And to be honest, it's not a great television, but I was also totally happy with it. But the entire television was less than 200 euro, and I don't think it's like 4 years old or 5 years old right now, and I don't think it's worth spending like 50 euro plus shipping. So I will be at 60 euro in spare parts, and those spare parts, my dad used it quite a lot, but then it stood like a year in my dad's house when he died, and then I took it here, and over here I didn't use it that much. I only used it to play Xbox games and watch the odd movie, and I don't watch many movies, so it only ran a couple of hours at my home, maybe like 100 hours over the last 2 years, which is not much. And my dad only had it for about a year, I think, before he died. So I fear if I repair it, spend the 50 or 60 bucks, shipping included, for the replacement PCB, it's going to die anyways again in like 2 or 3 years of use, and then I would have to pay another 50 or 60 bucks for this to no, it's not worth it. I could buy a new television, and if it dies within the next 2 years, I have a warranty on it. So the only option is basically try to replace the diodes. The television is broken, so broken to the point that I can't use it, so there's not much to lose. In case of doubt, I replace all diodes. It's only like 5 to 10 diodes, and usually those normal diodes are not that expensive. So if it's like 10 diodes, I maybe spend 5 bucks for them. Yeah, I think I have to do that. And I'm waffling, but I don't think you mind. I hope you enjoy that I'm uploading a video, even though I'm not into gaming right now. I'm still into retro computing. I still read about old computers. I still enjoy watching videos about repairing stuff and that, but I'm just not into gaming right now. Sorry, but it just doesn't work for me, and I don't think it's a good thing if I force myself to record retro gaming videos just to record a video, even though I don't enjoy gaming. I think my channel was always about things that I enjoy. I thoroughly enjoyed those retro gaming. I thoroughly enjoyed making those comparison videos back when I did this, but right now I just don't enjoy it, and I don't think I should record any videos as long as I don't enjoy it. I'm pretty sure I will enjoy it again in the future, so I'm pretty sure I will start recording gaming videos again in the future, but that may take a while. So yeah. Thanks for all your support you gave me over the last couple of months. Even though I did not record any videos, I did notice all those people asking if I'm fine, if somebody had heard of me. I did notice them and I really appreciate it. I'm pretty sure I will be back sooner or later. It's just a phase right now that I don't enjoy doing this. I did find something that I really enjoy. It's riding a motorbike. I know that I cannot do this for like the next half year because I don't have a motorbike to ride. I still have to go to the Straßenverkehrsamt Führerscheinstelle. Yeah, it's a very nice German word which describes the office where I have to get this extension put on my driving license. I have the papers from my driving instructor, and this is not an easy progress. It's the Straßenverkehrsamt Führerscheinstelle is something like the DMV in America. Yeah, and DMV really sounds much nicer than Straßenverkehrsamt Führerscheinstelle. But we don't have such nice abbreviations here in Germany. Where we do, it's a TÜV, which stands for Technischer Überwachungsverein. German sounds really harsh, doesn't it? It's with the pandemic, it's even more complicated than usual. I think I have to get an appointment in advance. And the question is, I still have my old paper driving license, which I have to exchange into the new plastic credit card shaped EU driving license within the next 3 to 5 years anyways. So the first question is, and I tried to phone them and I did not get through. The first question is, can I keep my old paper license for the 3 years that is still valid and get the extension added to that, or do I need to get the new plastic one where I have to get some photographs and that's another typical German thing is, in the worst case, I did make my driving license in the city of Mönchengladbach. And after I made my driving license, I moved like 3 kilometers away. And now it's not anymore the city of Mönchengladbach, it's the Kreis Neuss, which means it's Neuss County, basically. So, yeah, and you would think that should not be a problem. The city of Mönchengladbach is still, the city center is like 10 kilometers from where I live right now. But I can only go to the Straßenverkehrsamt Führerscheinstelle in the city of Neuss. And then again, you should think that should not be a problem because we have something like the internet and other databases, so they should be able to look up the files from the city of Mönchengladbach that I actually have a driver's license. They do that if you have to get a new license, get your license extended, you made some changes to your license, you upgraded it, then they have to look up in the database that you actually have a driver's license. They don't just accept that you have this piece of paper or plastic. They actually look it up in the database that you did not forge your paper or plastic card. But as far as I know, they can't do that. They can only do that for the city or county where you actually made your driver's license. So worst case scenario is I have to get an appointment for Mönchengladbach to get so that they confirm that I have the driver's license that corresponds to the piece of paper that I have. and then I have to take that piece of paper and have to make an appointment in the district of Neuss to get my new license. Yeah, German bureaucracy, isn't it nice? Yeah, and I have to get a hospital pack of beta blockers so my blood pressure does not get through the roof when I do this process, because I hate to deal with German bureaucracy. It's so ridiculous. It's like, yeah, I really do enjoy retro stuff. You may have noticed I enjoy retro gaming. You have seen I enjoy my retro tube radios. I drive a vintage car. I bought a vintage motorcycle, so I'm pretty much into retro. But I'm not into retro if it comes around to deal with bureaucracy. And we are, it's like, if you have to deal with authorities, it's like you're in the middle of the last century. Even Albania has more modern bureaucracy than Germany, and it's a shame how terrible all this works here in Germany. And already my blood pressure is starting to rise, so I will stop right here because I have to think of my health. So yeah, dealing with German bureaucracy is just a pain in the ass. I know it's a pain in the ass everywhere in the world, but here in Germany you feel like, why the fuck are we paying so much taxes if they can't even get something that they could look up in the neighboring city? I would not mind if they had to phone to the neighboring city or send a fax. They're still supposed to have a fax machine, and I read that the German government is still using fax machines. Yeah, you're right, we have the year 2021. But according to our Chancellor impersonator Angela Merkel, it's still internet is still terra incognita. So yeah, it is if you have to deal with the authorities. And yeah, that's the funny part. When it comes to Corona, then I don't have a smartphone, I don't have an internet access. Then I am the one that insists on getting every fucking thing on paper. Because if I can't get my driving license online, because they fucked this up for the last 20 years, then I demand that I get my vaccination certification or my test certificate on a fucking piece of paper as well. Yeah, and they do. So yeah, and my blood pressure, I can't talk, I can't say the word blood pressure, because obviously my blood pressure is so high that I cannot say the word. Yeah, and really, if you really made it this far in the video, then you are really someone who enjoys watching the Shadows Knows, talking about stupid things, saying stupid things, and I will promise you, as soon as the feeling is back, the urge to play the old games is back, I will start recording videos again. I know that it will come back. I have those phases where I don't enjoy things that I enjoyed for the last 5 or 10 years anymore. So I know that it would change again. Those phases are going are passing. It's just right now I don't feel like it. It could change in a couple of weeks. It could happen that next month I will enjoy playing games again. And if you watch my German channel, I did a video with my friend's son, and we did a a cola blind test, and I asked him if he would like to play and record some old Atari or Commodore 64 games with me, and he said yes. So as soon as I figure out how to record those, because I always film an old CRT screen. I'm not going to change that. And I want to show us playing those games. I want to show his reactions to old Atari games. He is a gamer, so and he doesn't mind playing retro stuff. So I think he will be able to enjoy some of those games. But that's, of course, it's much better to film the reactions. But if he put up a camera to film us, there has to be some light. And if there's some light, I get terrible reflections if I film off the screen. So since I have those small studio broadcast monitors from Sony, I can just put up a cardboard box over them. But then I have to get the audio somewhere. So the only problem that I have right now is getting the audio from the game and getting the audio from our comments. And we will do those videos in English. I asked him if he feels confident enough with English so that he could comment those videos in English, and he said yes, but only if you don't mind that I have a German accent. And I don't mind because I also have a terrible German accent, so that's pretty much okay. Yeah, I think that would be interesting, and I think that's going to be the next gameplay footage that I will release. I hope we find a solution for the audio problem this year, because I'm really looking forward to play those old games with him, and I'm pretty sure he will enjoy some of them. We had a blast recording those cola blind tests, and there is going to be a second part. It's going to be in German. If I really get a lot of viewers from outside of Germany, or from outside of the German language zone, let's call it the language zone, then I will try to do some subtitles. I did subtitles on some of my first German drink videos, but it's really a lot of work. So for like a 5-minute video, it takes me like an hour or 2 hours to make the English subtitles, and that's not a pleasant 2 hours. So since most of my viewers come from Germany on my German channel, I stopped making subtitles. But if I get really a lot of views from outside of Germany, I may start providing English subtitles for some of those videos again. So, and I don't think I have anything more to say right now. Thanks for all your support that you gave me over the last couple of years. Thanks for watching this video to the end. And I hope I will be able to do some gameplay videos soon. It's never been that long that I hadn't any interest in gaming at all, so I'm pretty sure it will be over soon. And then I will start making some videos again. Maybe not as many as before, but right now I have no clue. So yeah, really thanks again for all your support. I'm okay, and I'm pretty sure I will return sooner or later. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you sooner or later.